Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Back at you in Gloves Off, and I'm here with one of the best in Laredo, our ex-mayor, Raul Salinas. How are you doing, man?
Good to see you, buddy. Nice to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and that's what we're here, because I think 2021 just is passing us. A couple of hours from now is going to be 2022.
Yes, good riddance.
And
2021 has been a tough year for everybody, especially for small business and just the working people, the kids, the parents, the grandparents. Everybody has suffered in this country, and I hope and pray that we can move on, and hopefully that year 2022 will be a brighter, harmonious, and productive and safe year. And hopefully we can rid of this pandemic. It's been really horrible. It has really hurt everybody. It hurt everybody physically, economically, and a lot of businesses have had to close their doors. We've seen it in downtown Laredo. And I think that the most important thing is I think that we have to be positive. There's a saying that says, el que mira para arriba, sube. El que mira para abajo, se cae. But I think that I'm optimistic. I'm one of those folks that's always optimistic, looks to the positive. And I think if we get together and work together and be friends with each other, respect each other. I think that's much needed in this country. Right now, I believe, in my own personal opinion, that we're in a divided country. We're living in a divided country, which is not good. It's not good, but we're moving on. I think that the power of prayer is so important in our community, everywhere, because we don't have prayer, we don't have anything. If we have faith, we don't have faith, we don't have anything. I think family, faith, prayer are so enormously important, and as I see what we've gone through, it really breaks my heart when I see what's going on in downtown Laredo. We need to bolster and help, especially the small business. While I was mayor, I remember we recognized new businesses cropping up, and a lot of people, I think that they know that these folks that go into a small business, they have all their life savings that they put into this prospective new business and try to make it. So we need support. We need to support Laredo, shop Laredo, help Laredo. And when you help Laredo, you're helping the workforce, you're helping our economy. And I think that's what's really very important to me. And I'm looking forward to 2022. As I said, I look at 2022 with a lot of optimism. But we can't have it if we're not united. We need to unite. We need to work together. We need to be on the same page. One of the things that bothered me this year, I think one of the most difficult things that bothered me is people that choose not to be vaccinated. I respect people, but when our medical experts tell us that we need the vaccines, that we need the booster, they're saying it to you for a reason. Okay, they're not in politics. Medicine is not a political thing. It became a political thing, but I don't think that when we had the polio epidemic, everybody took what they needed to do to evade the polio. There was no questions about it. But now we have the social media. Vaccinate is not a debate. I mean, that's the way I see it. I respect people, and people have a right to do.
And I'm going to interject in that, because number one, I agree with you wholeheartedly with everything else, and we'll touch base on the vaccinate right now. And Laredo has to help its small businesses, and it has to, because there's been a lot of businesses here that have been here 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they're small businesses, they've been around for a long time. Start helping them out, because a lot of those small businesses have actually contributed to the community of Laredo. So we have to go back and do that. your dance studios, your karate schools. But this, not because I teach out of one, but you have to go back because those are businesses that have aided a lot of people when they were in needs of trouble, and they've given them self-assurance and self-discipline, self-respect, so on and so forth. The mom and pop grocery stores, the meat markets. We have to go back and help them out. For the last 2 years, I've been shopping at the local meat markets instead of actually going to H-E-B or Walmart or what have you to go buy, because I know that people, you might pay a little bit more, $1 more, what have you, in give or take, but you're helping somebody that's been around the community for the longest time.
And Paul, you're right on target, because these people work 15, 16 hours a day. I'm talking about the small business, the mom and pop places. They dedicate their whole life to that business. So I wholeheartedly agree with you, and we need to support our people, our community. And particularly, I'm a proponent of helping small business. I always have been, because I saw the struggles that people face. And the pandemic caused a lot of businesses to fold that will never open up again. And what does that mean? It means a lot of revenue. It's a loss of jobs, and it's hard times. It's hard times, and I think we need to focus on the future with a positive outlook. That's my way of thinking. That's just my.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you with that. The pandemic was brought upon us with a lot of fear, and it was shut down, and there was no remorse for the small businesses there. They called a lot of us non-essentials. And you're like, wait a minute, we're the ones that are actually making this thing move, because without the backbone here, you don't have no spine. Mm-hmm. And, you have the entrepreneurs who are coming in there, even though they made a lot of us think better, made a lot of us stop and actually calculate what we needed to do. And you got, you have your states and your cities that express so much mandates that Texas is now getting Musk coming in. We have other companies that are leaving California to come over here. Why? Because we have a state here that understands that free will is a God-given right. You can't remove that, and that's where we go into the mandates. There's a difference between telling people take the vaccine and have the vaccine. There's a difference between saying if you don't have the vaccine, you're not going to be allowed to go into this building. You're not going to be able to, 'cause that's discrimination right there. You're not going to be able to use your bank. You're not going to be able, we're not in Nazi Germany. So we need to stop and say, you know what? We're still America, the land of the free, and let's see how we can come in with that.
Well, I think addressing that, and yes, I agree with you that you have your rights, but when I wear a mask, I'm not wearing now because we have good distance.
Sure.
But when I'm wearing a mask, I'm protecting you, okay? And I would expect the same way. I mean, really, some of the folks that have not taken the precautions, when they go to ICU, they're begging for the shot, okay? So I understand it's a personal decision. I have some kinfolks that will not take it. And the thing about it is that, my gosh, just think about yourself. You have to decide. And you're right, I mean, the mandates, I think there's certain things that we need to do. We need to protect ourselves. If we're seeing that a rise of the pandemic it's on the way up now. After the Thanksgiving holidays.
But I'm like that. I lost my trust in the government.
Well, I haven't.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I haven't because I was part of government. But,
I look at it like this. We have some good folks in there. We have to protect the good folks that are in our office and remove the bad folks that are in there.
Yeah.
That's something that has happened.
I think that you
and doctors. I look at doctors the same way. Mm-hmm. I was raised by one. I know the majority of them here, and I know some of them are shady. And I know that some of them want to screw people over from way back when, and they're doing it now. They're the first ones that pop up with you get a vaccine. Well, listen, if it was for free, given by that, and nobody would be giving money for the way it was done, then I agree. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of. This is what I hope. And you're an FBI guy, mm-hmm. and then one of the best.
Thank you.
But I hope that when all this is done, okay, I hope that the FBI with the U.S. Department of Justice go after these people that took advantage of that
Oh,
under
absolutely.
the RICO Act
Mhm.
and nail them.
No, yeah.
And you're going to find out that doctors and nurses and educators and a lot of politicians are going to end up being wrapped up. I just hope the FBI does its job.
Well, and they will. The thing about it is, it's a personal thing, and I want to
But-
continue with a discussion that, you know, it's a personal decision
Sure.
that people have, and I respect that. But you got to think, you know, I happen to respect the scientists, you know, I mean, they, you know, and the doctors, and then from there's the information. You decide. You decide.
But, you
But
know,
take care of yourself. That's
absolutely.
priority.
You know, it's when people say, "What's the percentage of death?" It's 0.000173 or something to that effect. That's very, very minute. That's even less
Yeah,
than
but
what people
I-
died of the flu. See, what happened here? The flu disappeared. All the rest of the stuff disappeared. The cold disappeared. So when you look at the symptoms, it's funny because you look at the symptoms of the Omicron, and you look at what NyQuil clears up, it's the same symptoms. You're like, well, parade, it's exactly the same ones. So do we have to protect each other? Is it going to come back? Yes, it's something that it's going to be living, because we still have the polio.
Mhm.
Polio's still running around.
Yeah, but
It's more so now running around with a lot of other diseases that came up with the lack of protection that we had on the border. So we have to really look at things and say,
Yeah.
you know what, what's that? Now let's start going.
Yeah, but
so
not to belabor the issue, it's a personal decision. You want to do it, but I'm going to continue to wear my mask. I'm going to continue to wash my hands. I'm going to continue to do that
Sure,
because
of course.
I'm going to protect other people, and that's
Of
that's the way I
course.
look at it. And you know what? And I see people that are, and I just have my distance, and God bless them. That's all I can say.
that's where I look, and that's the way I look at it too. But on another note, let's go move back to Laredo. We have to protect our community.
Yeah.
Before we go to Texas, Laredo has to be standing strong. I'm from Laredo. Let's clean up our backyard. Let's move forward. Let's help out those businesses. And this year, you know what? If you're going to go in a place and they're discriminating you in whatever form, because we've all been discriminated upon, and we grew up with that.
Amen.
We grew up with that, and some of us are thicker skinned than others. But discrimination in any facet, in any form, has to stop. Period. That's number
Well,
one.
I can assure you that even when I went into radio broadcasting, the first chance that I got to be on the air, the program director said that blank Mexican off the air, and it was not a kind word. And I faced discrimination. When I was an FBI agent, not by the bureau, maybe true, but people. I remember as a state trooper from Laredo, I was going through a checkpoint. I was taking some evidence to San Antonio that had to be taken, and the guy didn't believe I was an FBI agent simply because my skin was brown. So he had the audacity to call San Antonio to confirm that I was an FBI agent, and I showed him my credentials. He never apologized. So
And that happens. You see.
But that's
We have good badges and bad badges. You got a bad badge in that sector, and that's what we have to do.
But I have to tell you, that that's an exception. Exception to the rule. But times have changed. There's more opportunities. As a Latino, I am very grateful for the opportunities that I got. I had an opportunity to work for a member of Congress. Okay, I was a member of the United States Capitol Police. And finally, I was an FBI agent, one of the first Mexicanos, Latinos, Hispanics, whatever, to join. It was not easy. It was not
No,
easy.
of course not.
But you just have to be positive. And I think this is what we need in 2022. We need to be positive. We need to face up and say, yes, sí se puede. We can do whatever we can. But I think as a whole, we need to be united and work together to a finality that's going to be successful for everybody. And particularly, I know we're talking about the small businesses. And I just came from a small meat market, Suarez meat market.
Yep.
And the owner, mean, works, I can tell you, I can at least work 18 hours a day.
Easy.
And his business has flourished, but he's never forgotten where it came from. And a lot of these businesses do. And you're talking about public service. When you go into public service, you go to serve your public, not to serve yourself. Okay? And I think that needs to be addressed on a national, state, and local level, because when people knock on your door, and I had so many people knock on my door that they didn't have food on the table. I had a lady in particular, man, and I'll never forget, because I always had an open door policy. Paul, you knew that. I mean, I talked to everybody. And this lady had 5 kids, and they weren't to school. She had to go to a gas station or a convenience store and use the bathroom so the kids could wash their face and get ready for class. That is unacceptable, man. That is unacceptable. So we need to help each other. You know, we need to help each other. And I think that if you ask me what I think about the future, I think harmony, respect, and love for each other. I think that those 3 things are key to the future success of this coming year.
Absolutely. And I would add the following. Let's bring back common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring back common sense. Think for yourself. It's like driving. You have to be a defensive driver. You have to think for the other person that's driving, because you never know if he's going to take the wrong turn or not. So you have to be now in that mode. And if you have a small business, you have to help others as well. I believe in networking. Small businesses have to network with each other. They have to produce and bring forward. We have a lot of great businesses that are trying, that I hear, that want to reopen. You know, like I said, you closed down a lot of people. It closed down a lot of people. But what happened was a lot of those entrepreneurs started thinking and said, you know what, I'm going to change it to this. I'm going to change that. Okay, enough's more. You know that old saying, pick up your marbles. If sometimes you have to know how to pick up your marbles and walk off the game. Mm-hmm. So 2020 destroyed a lot of businesses. But 2022 should not be 20 part 2. It should be 2022, we're moving forward in a positive direction.
But I think
more
when
harmony.
we talk about COVID-19 since inception, almost 2 years ago, I think we've come a long ways. I mean, I think we have. I mean, we're struggling, and I think some of the things that the government did, I'm talking about the federal government, were good because they needed to help people. And, you know, this is the greatest country in the world.
Course, yeah.
There's no question about it.
There's no question about it.
Look at how people in the Middle East fighting each other, struggling. The people from Afghanistan, we lost one of our heroes in Afghanistan, and he was among the over a dozen that got killed. Trying to help people exit, you know, leave that country, and what their people were willing to do. Can you imagine living like that? I mean, difficult. You know, when you talk about Putin, I know the president had a conversation with him yesterday, but you know, we need to be strong, and we cannot be a strong nation if we're not a united nation.
Yep, and we need strong leaders as well.
Absolutely. So that goes without saying.
We need strong leaders that understand what's in reality and what's happening in a day-to-day basis. We can't harbor, or we cannot elect a individual because, you know, they make a nice cheesecake and all of a sudden, well, what does that bring down to the community? You know, making a nice cheesecake is okay if you're gonna go to you know, a house party, but other than that, what does that bring you?
Well,
so we have to understand in elections and realize that we have to do our own research and bring in the person that's going to most benefit the community that you're in. And that's what I'd go back to. We have, remember that old, I was a senior in high school, they had that logo, keep the buck in Laredo.
mm-hmm.
Remember, it was all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's, I've always kept that, you know, we need a best buck in Laredo. But then you look at something like this happens, you know, Raul, and you're sitting down and you see people travel to San Antonio to buy trucks. You see people travel to San Antonio to go with doctors or what have you. They don't use them here, and then we have our own here doctors. 170 something of them wanted to close down small businesses and actually destroy them, just like close them down. And you're like, well, who's going to pay for what? Nothing's being done. People are losing everything. People are going dramatically into depression. People are suicide left and right. And what else is harboring inside with everything that was going on here? We can't have that. We have to have everybody say, you know what? What's in it for the community, not what's in it for me because I live in the community. No.
Well, I have to tell you on a positive note, when Marine Espinosa, the young gentleman, a fine young kid who went and stood up for his country, I love the way the city, the county, everybody got together and united, and it was amazing.
Absolutely, because we've all felt that loss, and we
Yes.
felt the loss because it was the most dramatic loss of lives since 2011. It's in 9/11, and 2001, 9/11. It was just something that shouldn't have happened. It was a blunder. It was the worst defeat we've ever had. And then they try to pass it off like, no, we lost somebody because of somebody's mistakes that were not done, and nobody's doing anything about it.
The young man made the ultimate sacrifice.
Absolutely.
He made the ultimate sacrifice, doing what he had to do at a young age. I mean, what the things that have been done for him, for his family, I think it's beautiful. I mean, I just think it's wonderful.
It's
I like the way-
a new house.
Mhm.
People coming out and saying, "We're going to help. We're going to build. We're going to do this. We're going to go." That is a community coming together.
Mhm.
That is like Laredoans waking up and saying, "You know what? Enough." And that right there, that step that happened, I think was a step in the right direction in the sense of everybody's now saying, "You know what? We have to back each other up." And that's it. We're from Laredo. We're going to keep that
and stick together. I remember shortly after Corporal Espinosa was killed, I went to visit the parents as a citizen. The most humble, the most wonderful family. The parents were so proud of their young hero, their son, who that's what he wanted. He wanted to be a Marine, and he wanted to be a Border Patrol agent. That's what his ultimate goal. But he was a very solid young man, and he made the ultimate sacrifice. We will never forget this young man because what he was doing, he was helping others escape a horrible scene, in Afghanistan, where they were living in fear, and we had a lot of those Afghans that helped us and helped the United States.
Way too many.
Yeah.
Way too many. And that blunder shouldn't have never happened, and those lives would have never been killed. Because you have to understand, when you're a leader, you have to know how to lead, and you have to pay attention to what people are telling you, not just do things because on a whim.
I think this, as we exit 2021, I think the outlook should be for a better year, for a better future, for a united country, for a safe country, especially what we're dealing with. This pandemic has really whipped the world, not just the United States.
It's
the
not
world. It's everywhere. And you see the countries that are poor, that have no medical help, they have, their way without a lot of the essentials like we do. Sometimes we take things here, and I venture to say that we take things for granted, and I think we need to start looking out for each other, and I think we need to be positive, and we need to move forward and say, hey, sí se puede. I know that we can do it. It can be done. And the United States is a great country. Why do you think people from all over the world, not only from our neighbors across, but all over the world.
Because it's the number one country in the world.
The number one country, and they see a democracy.
And
Sometimes we take that democracy for granted, but
let's keep it that way, because we're votes away from losing it.
yeah, I think so.
You know, so remember, let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
I want to ask everybody out there: have fun, New Year's Eve. Hug your family, hug your neighbors, those around you. Those are your crew. Protect your crew, protect your clan. And another thing: if you're going to drink alcohol, be responsible. And if you drank a little bit too much, give the keys to somebody else to drive.
Call Uber.
And the worst part, we were talking about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Let's quit shooting up in the air, guys.
What goes up
Comes down.
We've had mishaps, a lot of mishaps in the past. If you go downtown by the riverbank, you can hear the shots on both sides of the border. Not only in Mexico, on this side. And anytime you fire a weapon, huh?
That's New Year's.
You think it's a war going on, like a war zone. Really, seriously. But I don't know what gets into that. I mean, what thrill you get by firing a weapon, but you're putting people in danger. I tell people all the time, you know, if you're celebrating outside with your carne, you better go inside a half hour before midnight, because they start firing early.
Yeah.
So, but you know, and that can be avoided. You don't need to do that. You want to go out to the ranch somewhere alone where you're not going to harm anybody. Protect each other. Protect each other.
Absolutely.
And the part about if you drink, don't drive. You know how much it costs you? It costs you $10,000 when you have a DWI.
Absolutely. And it costs you a lot more than just $10,000.
Yeah,
it costs you
your job. If you're a driver, it's going to cost your job.
So be safe, have fun, and we're hours away from 2022, and let's make the best year of it. Common sense, peace, and harmony,
and love.
And let's keep embracing everybody here, and let's keep those small businesses going.
Like I always say, un abrazo.
Un abrazo.
Un abrazo para todos ustedes y cuídense. Dios les bendiga. Y lo mejor está por venir. The best is yet to come in 2022.
Absolutely. Till next time, much peace.